Hello, Six Pack. I am here to talk about the single Disdain, which is not Disdain, try that again, Apple Farm, which is 3 songs, including Apple Farm, A Mile, and Disdain. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. I am so good at speech. Hello, hello. Let me just send the notification to my Discord server. I spelled stream with 2 E's and no R. I'm so good at typing. Okay. Okay. So, if you didn't see the last episode, what we're doing today basically is dissecting the lyrics, and then at the end we're going to go over the design and like theme of the entire single, basically. I will... yeah, basically, that's exactly it. My favorite single, Disdain. Listen, I mean, Disdain is a single, but... it's not the single I'm talking about. Disdain is a single, but it's also Disdain Apple Farm Edition, which is a song on the Apple Farm single. Music's complicated. My 3 favorite songs, or my 3 songs. My favorite 3-song single, Disdain. There we go. Okay, that took me a minute. Alright, let's... I almost close out of Streamlabs. We're off to a really good start. So, 2/3 of this single are based on real life things, and one of them relates to the theme. Oh, yeah, that's fair. Definitely do an EP first. Ash actually released a few EPs, I think. Or at least an EP and a few singles, right? Or something like that. Anyway. So there was, like, a good amount of music before the, Weed Killer album from Ash. Who is a big inspiration of mine, Ash Nico. And Imagine Benny's, too. And, of course, Melanie Martinez, Billie Eilish, Nate Wants to Battle, Lana Del Rey, I think is mine as well. Oh, that's the reason for starting it. So yeah, I should talk about the pun in the name, Apple Farm. So, this whole thing started because of something that Apple did, and we'll get to that at the end. Just know that Apple, the company, is related to the name, and also farm as in capital... How do I word that? Okay. Give me a second. How do I word that? How do I word that? Capitalistic corporate greed, causing businesses to farm people for money. Yeah. Essentially, I had a moment I love Apple so much before during a stream, which reflects my feelings very well, I think. Alright, so your greed-filled heart in the boiling, drowning, falling, gone. That's a Hateful Heart reference because I can't let go of that song. I think even still I have... Yeah, I reference it in boxes too. It's my song I always go back to. It's my comfort song that I've made. It's my first good song. Sorry, Tortured Doll. Sorry, Tattered Wires. Sorry, Flames, you never saw the light of day. Okay, Hateful Heart is eternal like Afton. Oh my gosh, you're so right. Unintentional, but right. Also, I even show off the purple nails. That would fit so perfectly with Afton being a recurring figure in Rot. But anyway, also Greed-Filled Heart. That's pretty reflective of the themes of the song. And then actually reference Hateful Heart in every song now. No, I've already failed. My latest song that I finished does not have that SSS. I don't want to fully reveal the name on a stream yet, but still. Darkest Depths of Money ruling all along. So basically just it's decisions are only being made because money. That's it. Break what's fine, because bottom line, you need to milk us dry. So it's no wonder we come back every time. Causing problems and changing things to essentially need complex solutions or, like, essentially add-ons that cost extra simply just for money, to get more money out of people. That's what that's about. And when that's our only option is to just go with it because there's no other option, then it's no wonder we come back every time. Because even if corporations, like, milk us dry, we still... We can't live without them with the way things are set up right now. That's what that means. Yeah, I'll take a bit of everything. All your fingers, every ring, every organ med buffet, every cent you've made me pay. So that is, here, originally, like, when I was first conceptualizing the song, I was trying to think, like, okay, so I want it to be, like, this abusive relationship, kinda. Put it in, like, a character, because I like characters, apparently. And this is my first song... Well, second song, I guess, that isn't written from a character's point of view. Well, that's not true. I guess technically Disdain also has a character, but it's not a fictional character. Anyway, I'm getting tangents. It's mostly just saying that, like, people are going to be very willing to just... Interesting. Anyway, people are going to be very willing to essentially take all you have if it benefits them. And the Every Organ Red Buffet is specifically trying to think, like, it gives images of, like, medical, you know? And also, it's, at the same time, a reference to the fact that people sell their organs on the dark web to get money, because sometimes it has to come to that as a last resort, and that's absolutely wild. But it's also kind of, at the same time, wanting to take everything back, too. Like, wanting to steal right back from, the people stealing from you, essentially. Even though that's probably never gonna happen. And I was so damn excited. Right as a Wrong was being righted. Guess I kind of see why I don't leave, because of all the benefits you offer me. And I was so goddamn excited. Right as a Wrong was being righted. That is... I was finally getting motivation back to work on things, and I was like, I've wanted to write an album for a good amount of time now. And then, like, right as that whole problem of, like, the thing that caused my motivation to go away, right as that was, like, finally being, like, good again, Apple made this fun little decision, where GarageBand files, you know, GarageBand is the program I work with, Oh, goodbye. They made it so GarageBand files cannot be uploaded directly to other drive sites anymore. So like Google Drive, for example, is what I would use. That way, you're forced to use iCloud Drive. Which, if you don't know, iCloud Drive does this fun little thing sometimes, or at least it does for me, where, yeah, it gets backed up, but it doesn't... It has to stay on your device, which means it's taking up storage in both places. And you can buy more storage in both places separately. And that there you can kind of see what the motivation is. And because of that, I had to work on one project at a time because I just didn't have enough space ever because of it. And once I was done with it, the files had to be, like, gone forever, completely inaccessible ever again. Which meant that I had to remake things. Well, you use it because it backs things up and you can then access it on different devices. But it takes up storage space on the devices it's on, basically. It's great. It's wonderful. It's not. We'll come back to that later. Guess I kind of see why I don't leave, because of all the benefits you offer me. That's meant to have a slightly sexual connotation, but it's not, like, directly anything. It's just going with that abusive relationship analogy again. It is so useless, yes. It's there for, like, one specific what if this happens situation, and then completely disregards everything else. Anyway. Interesting. Okay, what was I saying? Right. But yeah, I feel kind of trapped in GarageBand just because that's what I make a lot of my stuff in. I'm familiar with the program. I really don't want to have to learn something new. And also, GarageBand files can only really be opened in GarageBand, so there are things I still want to go back into the file of and edit later, and that can only be done in GarageBand, so that's why I don't leave, because of those benefits, you know? Oh, okay, I see. Peel me the way you like, don't leave a scrap, a single bite, carve me the way you want. Seen it so many times, I will not jump. Plant the coins like you plant a seed. Put me in the ground, I'll be your apple tree. That's a really fun line to reference. You know, it kind of fits. I'm a bit dependent. Back so many times, I can't defend it. So, leaning in extra hard with that apple analogy. Double meanings and whatnot. I've realized with this song that I really like writing with double meanings. That's like my way to go. And expect so much more of that in my music from now on. I feel like that's going to be a big part of my style from here on, is just, like, analogies throughout a whole song that especially go deeper for, like, sort of giving more context for what it's about. I don't know how to word what I mean there, but, yeah. Essentially, what this is saying is, I'm already used to living in this horrible way of things working, and it's just, it doesn't surprise me anymore. It can disgust me, and I'll be like, ugh, of course, you know? But it's never gonna be surprised. That's what the "Seen it so many times I will not jump" line is about. And we kind of just have to conform to it, because if we don't, we just simply can't live, because everything, where I live at least, entirely revolves around capitalism and the way it works, to the point where it's impossible not to just give into it. Like, there's no way not to. You have to work to live. Sometimes you have to work entirely more than you should have to. That's a conversation for another time. Anyway, put me in the ground, I'll be your apple tree. That was meant to be, like, working yourself to death. Like, things being so expensive that you have to resort to dangerous things that can literally get you killed. But yeah, it kind of fits. I'm a bit dependent. Back so many times I can't defend it. That's, once again, the abusive relationship analogy. As well as just that, a callback to earlier in the song, so it's no wonder we come back every time. Apple Farm, where's the harm in a monopoly? So, despite the fact that monopolies, at least here in the US, are, illegal, even though the whole thing is like, oh, it's meant to be a competitive market that keeps things good, basically, the problem is that those companies, in their specific field, can still, like, even being competitive, like, nowadays everything's, like, in one place, or in very specific places, like, Apple and Android are, like, the main phone things, right? Yeah, there's other ones, but they're still, those two together have control over, like, that entire industry. And, like, Nintendo, Sony, other things, like, whatever other console exists. I think it's mostly Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Like, they can do whatever they want because, like, no, it's not a monopoly technically, but even with, like, the things we have to prevent monopolies, it still comes into the same problem still, like, groups of corporations can still make decisions that are going to act in a similar way to monopolies. Yeah, I kind of trapped myself, but no, I cannot ask for help when I'm the one who put me here, in this place, in your space. Wish I didn't hold you dear. A place of love shouldn't turn into a place of fear. Once again, abusive relationship analogy. Of course. There's another meaning too, which will be emphasized in a future song, which is very much planned and has a good amount of lyrics written for it too. That's not just about feeling like you have to come back to like corporations that don't really care about you and just care about your money. It's also how I feel about the My Singing Monsters content I make, actually. And that was just like a little look into it compared to what's eventually going to be a full song based on that concept. But, like, it's... I don't know. Like, I have this thing where if I start something, I feel like I have to finish it, Like, project-wise. Like, I have to commit to things. Like, especially if there's some sort of, like, a pattern set up, then I especially have to commit to it. So, like, every My Singing Monsters series I've started, I kind of feel like I have to hold myself to it. Even though no one's forcing me to, I can just stop whenever, and a good amount of people would be like, oh yeah, that's fine, I understand. Of course, a lot of people are pretty young, and they'll be like, hey, why? Don't do that. I don't want you to do that. But they'll get over it quickly and forget about me. But, like, the problem isn't anyone else, the problem is me. I'm essentially holding myself to my completionist standards. Once again, we repeat the chorus. And then we go to the final verse. You tied me down, I found a workaround. But you know me, I cannot leave, 'cause dear, I love the sound. So just continue now, 'cause baby, we're both bound to each other, one another, turn the tables around, so that we... does it say that in the song? I don't know. so that we both drown down. Okay. So this is essentially the finale to that whole abusive relationship analogy. Like, the you tied me down, I found a workaround. That's that. When I said we come back to something later, that's what I was talking about. I found a workaround for the GarageBand thing. That's what that's about. Genuinely, that's it. That's what that's about. I found a workaround online, and that's what I've been using ever since. If you compress the files, you can upload the compressed file. That's it. It's a simple workaround, and it works really well. So now that's the way I do it now. The I cannot leave because dear I love the sound, that's just the, once again, that theme from the first verse of always having to come back. And then feeling like the abusive relationship, like you're stuck in it, but then taking the bad route of, well, if I'm doomed, then, like, if I'm sinking to the bottom of this lake, then you're going down there with me too, is essentially the analogy I had there. When I said we're both bound, I imagined that metaphorically, but also literally. Like, I imagined this, like, scenario of, like, being just so tired of being in this horrible relationship that you tie yourself to the other person, and then just like sinking down to the bottom of a lake with them, forcing them to go down with you after they've thrown you, like, they've tied a brick to you and, like, thrown that down, like, and then you tying them to you, basically. To be like, you're gonna throw me down here? No, I threw you down here. Basically. And yeah, that was a lot of thought process. That's how to word that. That was my thought process behind a lot of the analogies, there we go, that were going into this song. It's a lot more than you would expect, honestly. Drink water. Check your posture. But yeah, I don't think I've ever fully talked about, especially even the abusive relationship thing. I just kind of like, oh, it's implied, and then never talked about it. I was like, it's probably not implied now that I think about it. Okay. So next up, actually, are there any questions about Apple Farm? We'll get into what connects these three songs at the end. There's some little things about the image of the Apple Farm single that I don't like. I'm going to point them out to you while I'm waiting to see if there's any questions. Does anyone have any questions? This should either curve around this way to just have it fully go with that curve, or else it should curve in and down to show that it goes back. Because what's happening here does not look right. And also the angle looks really weird here because this should have more of a curve this way, and so should this. But I was like, oh, whatever, it's gonna be uneven because, you know, pencil sharpener, but no, okay. Oh my god, I've infected her with the me virus. I do that too. Alright, let's move on to A Mile Apple Farm Edition. Alright. You can open up to me, just let us in. Essentially, just trust us, that's it. But also let us in literally. Is the fun thing about this. This is a song about Ennard from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. It's about who you are inside. You'd only lie, you'd only lie if there's something to hide. It's easy when you're full of doubt to turn the narrative inside out. Sometimes the sentiment goes different than intended, and you're left with good intentions. So, this is, Ennard / Baby trying to manipulate, basically. Like, essentially be like, there's nothing for us to hide. it's easy to, like, it'd be very easy for you to twist what we're doing here because, you know, I think therefore I am. I think this is, like, I think this is probably a dangerous situation, therefore it's a dangerous situation, you know? But yeah. Look a little closer, show her what it really means to be free. Take a step back, look in the mirror, tell me what you see. So that... Ooh. Interesting. I wish you luck. Anyway, so this is mostly a reference to the ending cutscene where you walk up, I think it's a bathroom mirror in Sister Location, and you see Ennard's purple eyes. That's it. That's what that's a reference to. But also, it's meant to be, like, trust us, like, open up to us, so you can show, this is to Michael, by the way, Elizabeth, your sister, your deceased child sister, like, what it truly means to be free and trusting, and, like, you're not trusting us, but what do you see when you look in the mirror, is how, Ennard is sort of meaning it to sound, but in reality, what it's about is, the whole song is, like, Ennard being, like, it's Ennard gaslighting. That's what the song is. I love Ennard so much. So it's really fun to sort of write from what they would be thinking. You can open up to me, just let us in. Your view really changes of the world you see when you walk a mile in another man's skin, so let me in. Ennard is gaslighting, gatekeeping, and girl bossing. We love them. So, once again, it's meant to be, like, Ennard just, like, persuading, like, hey, just trust us, please. Like, what would you do if you were in our shoes, you know? That's what it's meant to be. And also, man here is being used, like, in a neutral way, as in person, not as in adult male. But, yeah, it's... it's also, at the same time, showing what Ennard's true motivation is, while trying to convince Michael that that's not what their true motivation is. That they're just misjudging the situation. Or that he's just misjudging the situation. It's hard to talk without a voice. It's hard to choose without a choice. It's hard to tell when you're being played like a toy, oh boy. I agree, but also, ugh, at the same time. Don't take that seriously, please. I'm not serious. That's fair. I reference Ennard as they because they are physically more than one being. And also just, I think the games call Ennard he, or the games being Ultimate Custom Night. I think Ultimate Custom Night uses he, but I'm not certain. Anyway, I'm using they just in case, and also because, like I said, it is numerous characters in one. So this is just kind of guilting Michael. Like, think about what it's like to be us. We are literally used as toys. Like, we don't get to say what we want to say. We don't ever have a choice in anything we do. And still don't. But in reality, it's... Michael's not gonna have a voice while Ennard is taking him over. Ennard does not have a... feels like they don't have a choice in what they're doing. Even still, they just need any way to get out. It's hard to tell when you're being played like a toy, oh boy. That's that's just once again gaslighting, kind of, at this, but at the same time it's sort of like a warning sign of like a hint at what's happening there. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. And then the facade starts to slip. Let us in, so let us in. You know? I'm gonna say the FNAF movie's probably like the novel trilogy in that it's just a separate universe, but with connections, basically. Goodbye, Liam. Have a lovely night. Does anyone have any questions about A Mile Apple Farm Edition? Ooh, this is a really good watch. The scariest creepypasta ever made. The parts of it where Pastra talked about vomit made me a little bit uncomfortable. So if you also have emetophobia, maybe don't watch. Maybe only watch like halfway through. But either way, good watch. Anyway. Love that. Okay. I'm suddenly feeling very congested. Hate that. Alright, Disdain! So this one is a very serious song to me. Ironically, it's my song that gets perhaps the most memed. But generally, I do ask that we don't make too much fun of this song. Just because... just because it has a lot of meaning to me because of who it's about and the time I spent with that person. And the disdain I feel toward her death. Mostly Nifby. Which, it's fine, he's not making fun of the song itself. It's more just making me say silly things by cutting out the lyrics. Which, that's okay. Yes. Yes, a friend of mine died. That's what the song is about. It was... Oh gosh, how long ago was it? 5 years ago? It was 5 years ago. A little under 5 years ago, I guess it would be. Oh my gosh. How? How's it been that long? Yeah, I'm dizzy. Death. Anyway, let's get into the seriousness that is this song. I'm dizzy from seeing all the blood on your hands. She came to you and told you where she stands. So before I get into what that line means, the idea for that line is there was one day where I was bleeding and I saw the blood literally on my hands and I was like, ooh, I'm dizzy. Because I don't like blood, you know? I was like, ooh, this would make a good song, you know? And I knew exactly what it would fit perfectly into. But that's what the I'm dizzy line is a reference to. But the seeing all the blood on your hands, she came to you and told you where she stands. My friend, I don't know how specific I should be. I feel like this is the one time, this is probably, yeah. Billy is having a time outside there. Oh my goodness. Such a creature. Okay. Stop choking yourself, dog. Anyway. What's I saying? Critter, yes. Or Crider, I guess it would be. There we go, Critter, yeah. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying entirely. Oh. So, for the first time, and probably the last time publicly, I'm going to be kind of specific about what happened. So, I went to school with this girl, and I went to school with this girl, and once you get seen as, like, a troublemaker, that's all you ever are in the eyes of a school. And when she was like, hey, I'm having mental health issues, like, it's bad, and they just continued to treat her horribly, and like a delinquent, and it was horrible, you know? It's so upsetting. And I already had disdain toward this school because of my own problems with it, and then things that I had heard that same year about really weird rules, and just, there's a lot I don't like about that school. But the way they treated her was especially horrible. But yeah, she came to you and told you where she stands, and then the blood being on their hands, that's what that's about. Like, she told them where her mental health was, and they continue to just treat her horribly over and over and over again. You let her bleed out when she came to you for help, and what's worse, instead you gave her hell. That's exactly what I just said. Like, she went to them for help. They only just continued to treat her like a horrible person that was just attention-seeking, despite the fact that she's like, yeah, this is why I'm struggling, help me. They're like, delinquent, horrible, detention, basically. And it's like, you know, she fell, and well, I blame you. Do tell why the hell, when she was low, you pushed her 6 feet below. Like I said, she was struggling. She went to them. And how they treated her and continue to treat her, I feel like that level of pressure to have to be perfect when they're already, like, having it out for her. I'm sure that did not help in pushing her into an early grave, which is what that line is referencing. Like, hang on. Maybe not, okay. But yeah, my feelings are pretty summed up in, I'm sickened, you dicks in this district keep driving these kids to their death. Because you wanna know what? That wasn't even the only person in that school, and that school is split up into like four different schools, and I'm just talking that one school that district is split into. Like, of the 4, just that one school, and that wasn't even the only self-inflicted death. You know? Like... And then they never changed anything either, which makes it extra upsetting. You teach them your hatred and your expectations. Destroy any hope that is left. Like, they... and I feel like I'm honestly having a similar problem with YouTube here, and a lot of people, whenever that you get in trouble, like, enough times, any little thing you do is wrong. Like, once you get to a certain point, anything you do cannot be seen as correct, and I feel like she got to that point with the school. So then their expectations seem to be, like, so extremely high for what's right and wrong, for her to do specifically, that, like, it's only hatred at that point, you know? That's what that's about. And then it destroys any hope of ever being seen as good again, because you're only ever going to be seen as the delinquent. You know? It's frustrating. And that's disdain. There is meaning in the specific objects and animals that I chose in the original disdain image. And it's very related to the girl that this song was about. And this girl, I wasn't close with her for long, but we had an art class together, and the teacher had it out for her. Like, she couldn't do anything right in that class for the teacher, and it was upsetting because it's like, that's stupid. Like, we got really close really fast, and then as soon as we didn't have that class anymore, we kind of just, like, stopped talking. There wasn't, like, any bad feelings or anything there. It just, we stopped talking, and then it was later that year that she ended up taking her own life. It, not great. Also, there's that lovely time where someone accused her of bringing drugs into the school, and since she'd been in trouble so many times, they just, like, believed the person. They refused to actually check her for the drugs, and just, like, punished her for it anyway. Like, that's a crime you're charging her with, and you're not even willing to look into it. Like, you know, it's ridiculous. I've had my own issues with said school district, but I feel like that should be saved for a separate time, just because, you know, that's my issues are not what this song is about. The song is about the treatment of this poor girl, you know? Like, she didn't deserve it. She was genuinely such a sweet person. Like, she had to put on, like, this, like, how do I word that? She had to put on the face that everyone saw her as, basically. But, like, if you actually talk to her for, like, 1 second, she's a nice person. Like, she was genuinely fun to talk to. She was that platonic friend that you would say I love you to. Like, genuinely, there were these times where we'd say I love you to each other in art class, and my one friend would be like, ooh, and I was like, I am gay. And we are friends. And they're like, oh, okay. But yeah. Also, I think she might have saved my life once. I think there was a trip in either elementary school or during, like, a summer camp thing, where we went to this little... It's not really a beach, but beach is in the name of it. It's a lake. It's a sandy lake. And I didn't... Apparently, I forgot how to swim or something. Or I was still kind of learning to swim. And I started drowning. I started drowning. And someone saved me, and I think it was her. Because I genuinely don't know who else... Locational lake. I genuinely don't know who else it could have been. Like, there's one other person I can think of with a similar name. I know there were 2 people with similar names, and they both had a similar hair color when they were younger. And I'm thinking it was the one that this song was about. Because I really couldn't see it being the other one. I was young, and also I didn't know the person that well. The person just kind of jumped in to save me. Like, it wasn't like, out of a close friendship or anything. It was just like, oh my god, someone's drowning, and you go save them because the lifeguards clearly aren't paying attention. It was that thing. So I don't know. I like to think it was her. She said she didn't remember. So it brings me comfort to think it was her, you know? But anyway, if you have any questions about any of the songs at all now at this point, because we're just about done with this. So the whole connected theme that I said I would mention, I mentioned at the beginning I would say it. Said everything. Okay, heck yeah. It's exactly 3 minutes long. Ah, we love that. Sorry. I noticed a little detail that I liked. That it was 3 minutes long exactly. Ah, it's 2 minutes and 59 seconds long here. It's set. What was that bang? My dog heard it too because he screamed. I heard it too. I hope everything's alright. What was I saying? Right. No, he had a reason to scream there. There was a bang. I also heard and I was like, hello? So no, I understand that one. I get it. But the connecting theme is, you know that garage band thing that I was talking about in Apple Farm? Yeah, it caused me to lose a Mile Remastered and Disdain. So I redid the vocals to a Mile Remastered, adjusted the instrumental, and also changed the instrumental entirely for the bridge. And then just had to entirely remake Disdain from scratch. Huh. You know? Not fun. Like, it was an experience. I am not symmetrical. That's fine. So that's the connection between these. And also, fun little fact, Palm Island is the same way. So I kind of just have to guess and hope things sound right if I do what ifs for Wooza and Tubza. If I want to put them as like a what if on Palm Island. I should go over the art here. So I thought it'd be cool to have this little like drawn on leaf and then have that be like the title of the song. I wanted to go for like a school theme because of Disdain. So pencil being stabbed through the apple, and it's like, it's not exactly blood, but it's blood adjacent. An apple being peeled the way you like. There's a little scrap down here, a single bite, if you will. There's not much of a mile in here, but Disdain and Apple Farm are in there. I got distracted. So, any last minute questions about the Apple Farm single? The recent cover of Aesthetic? I don't think so. Okay. Which one are you talking about there? Just like generally the most recent ones in general, or do you mean Apple Farm 2, or? Oh, I'm glad you thought so. I'm so excited. So a lot of the time was dedicated to Apple Farm and Disdain especially. Okay, boxes and R&R. Okay. That makes sense. I really liked the, like, thrown together mixed medium look. We're gonna lose that with whatever comes after it, but hey, whatever. I feel like it works for the stuff it was for, because I think they both fit the songs pretty well. I guess I can go to cam mode, huh? Hello. Oh, love that. Okay. Okay. Sorry if my trans identity makes you uncomfortable. Well, actually, I couldn't care less what I expect from someone as tasteful as cardboard for breakfast. Thank you for that. I will probably, like, in the next group of songs, whatever that may be, like I said, single, album, EP, like, numerous song single, whatever the collection of songs is that comes out next, I will probably do not all of them at once, because my songs lately are a lot more to explain. Like, if you saw the Rot one compared to this one, there were like 2 extra songs, and I think it was... How long was that stream, actually? Hang on, let me look. Give me a second. Go watch Drophy. Hang on. Yeah, no, that was shorter than this one was. And this had less songs. They just meant more. And my newer songs that are coming out mean a lot more, you know? So I am probably going to separate it. Aren't our plus win? Interesting. I don't know what that means, but okay. I suppose I should go then. Oh, shh, that's not announced yet. Lake Portals Deluxe. Oh. You can delete it from there, but it's gonna appear there still. It's not gonna go away. That's not how it works here. I'm sorry. I feel like there's not much I could really add to that. That secret project. But thank you. That's very sweet. I'm getting to the point now where I can consider myself a singer-songwriter. I'm not so... Super Secret Project. Yes. Super Secret Sleepover Society. Go watch Secret Sleepover Society too, not just Drophy. Also check out Nay Wants to Battle. Also axolotls are cool. The SSP. Including SSS. Not Secret Sleepover Society in this case. I'm completely done with SSS, by the way, I think. Maybe I want to... There might be one little verse I want to throw an extra thing over just to make it extra clear. But... I'm gonna forget what that means, so remind me if I ask, but... besides potentially that one last verse, I'm completely done with that song, and I'm ready to move on to the next one. I'll absolutely send it to you once I record that line. Which probably will be tonight. I have so many things I have to voice for people still, but my priority's been on the album. I haven't been too into voicing things for other people lately. I might stop doing voice requests besides for, like, close friends like you. Like, I'm I'm not gonna say no to you probably because you help me with things and I'm down to help you with things. Yeah, a calm, sparky song that doesn't sound angry? A shock. You're a very close friend. How do I... Oh. That's just a triangle. How... Yeah, it's easier if I just do that. How... Whatever. Sexy song next? Isn't that what SSS is? Hi Kron, we're actually this is the end of the stream. Yeah, I was gonna say I have a sexual song coming. That was not great wording, but you make me sick kind of song. That's kind of what SSS was to me. Oh god. Yeah, the stream's ending. I was sort of talking about I talked about my EP first in the last stream, and this is episode 2 of Behind the Music, and in this one I talked about my single Apple Farm. Ironically, this has less songs, but I had a lot more to say about it. The other one was like 45 minutes long. This one's almost an hour long. I miss your stream so much. Thank you. I don't know how often I'm gonna stream, but I know someone who's not going to be taking up my time anymore. Like, he was the original reason I stopped streaming because all my attention was on him. So a bit of a look into SSS. Not revealing the title yet, just the acronym. If you guys also want to be mad, that's at the person, not only for the contents of the song. He did drop me for a week. He did. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's enough. And that's a little, another little hint at the song. Yes. Perfect. I'm so excited for that song. I'm just debating when I should release that one. Anyway, I should go. I should stop talking about this. I'm gonna spoil too much. I need to go. Ashniko era. Ooh. Ashniko and Melanie are big inspirations for this album. That's what I'll say. Especially Ash, but Melanie too. Melanie for the style of boxes, which influenced probably what's going to be the rest of the album, minus Patch maybe, I don't know. Patch is its own thing. I'm gonna go. Okay, goodbye. Have a lovely day or night, whatever's for you. Should I go? I might go into the Discord server. If you're interested in talking more about music stuff. Anyway, I go now. Goodbye.